Welcome to the Liverpool FC Journal, guys. I'm Owen James. This is your Liverpool news update. Welcome along, guys. Just off to work. I wanted to get a video done before heading off. Right, look, let's talk a number of things we've got to get through from obviously yesterday. A much better Sunday. Much better to wake up, isn't it? Having put a fantastic performance like that together. Look, I'm not saying that everything is rosy in the garden of Liverpool at this moment in time, because it simply isn't. It will take a lot more of those sides of performances for this to be back to being where it should be. But you've got to say last night the performance was a whole lot better than it has been of recent weeks. It was more fluid, it was more attacking, it was more dynamic, it was more aggressive. The quality of football on show from Liverpool was so much better. Now, I don't know whether that was just solely down to the fact that Newcastle came. They came to attack. They came to play football. They didn't come to low block, to spoil, to try and stop the game from happening. They came with a much more open, expansive attitude. And to be honest with you, I said on the short that I put out yesterday, probably for the 15-20 minutes at the start of the game, they were probably the better side and deserved to be 1-0 up. But it seemed that 1-0, like I said, did sting Liverpool into action last night. Let's give out a massive shout out to Hugo Ekitike. I mean, a performance last night, again, where he just kind of took charge, went back at Newcastle and gets those two fantastic goals to put us 2-1 up. I mean, superb performance. This lad has been absolutely fantastic this season. He's aggressive, he's direct, he's attacking. It's almost like, Alexander who when this young man is around. The first goal, obviously, from a fantastic assist from Florian Wirtz, poked in by Ekitike to make it 1-1. And then the second one is all about his clinicalness, his quality, where he is as a player. It was almost, I think, as many said, Fernando Torres-esque in the way that he finishes that goal last night. I mean, that's his 10th goal in the league this season. 10 in 20, 14 goals all together in 15, isn't it, actually, this season that Ekitike has scored. And certainly a burgeoning relationship between him and Florian Wirtz. And you know what? It really does show that Wirtz and Ekitike can be just difference makers going forward for Liverpool Football Club. They really can be huge difference makers. They can almost win games, just the two of them, by standing up, by taking charge. I mean, Wirtz, he finds space, he appreciates space with the ball, he plays little killer passes, little dribbles to make space, like for the first goal. Again, you've got to say quality from the pair of them, absolute quality from both of them. And then, obviously, the moment that's I think we'd all kind of been hoping for, given the circumstances that Ibu was in. Ibu was phenomenal. I mean, look, Ibu has had come in for an awful lot of criticism over this season with his performance. Some of his performances have been very, very bad indeed. Even the manager at one point saying that he was often at the scene of the crime. He's obviously lost his dad. It's awful to lose a parent. I lost my mum last year. It's something you never get over, really. I think, it's something that's always there, and it's going to be always there for Ibu. And he came through last night. He was rock solid. The Newcastle attackers got nothing out of him, absolutely nothing out of this big man. He was quality last night, different class. And then he gets that goal, and the emotion comes out. And one thing that I think, showed us where this team are at in terms of the team itself. Never mind Arne Slot, never mind what you think of Arne Slot, or whether he should be here or shouldn't be here. That little photograph there that shows even Alisson ran 100 yards to celebrate with Ibu Konate. The whole team went to him, hugged him, held him, and then the emotion comes out. And rightly so, you've got to be made of stone not to have emotion in that situation. But it shows a togetherness, a brotherhood, for the team sticking together, that they're all there for each other. And they've been through an awful lot this season, obviously with the death of Diogo, the way the season's gone so far, and now this. They're sticking by their brother, they're sticking by Ibu, and that for me is actually really encouraging for the team going forward. That togetherness, that quality of relationship between the players is absolutely fantastic, and huge respect to all of the players for that. Not him. I'm going to give a huge shout out to Florian Wirtz there last night. Florian Wirtz, I thought, was absolute quality last night. A goal and assist. He's really turned it round. And where are the doubters now? Where are those people slagging him off now and saying, oh, he's a waste of money, he's crap, he's rubbish, blah, 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 blah. Yes, I mean, look, initially, you look at those figures and they're not amazing, but they don't tell the full story that since, I think it's the last 6, 7, 8 games, he's really kicked on and come into form. 6 goals in total across all competitions for Liverpool. 8 assists across all competitions, 14 goal contributions in 32, 4 and 3 in the league, 1 and 3 in the Champions League, 1 in the Community Shield, and 1 and 1 in the FA Cup. He is coming good. He is looking every bit the player that we thought we were getting when we signed Florian Wirtz. And look, the relationship that I said between him and Ekitike, between the way that he's going with him, is absolute quality. Is absolute quality from him. He deserves massive, massive respect for that. Huge respect for the way that he's turned this round and has put in performances that are just showing that he is the playmaker. And such excitement, guys. People talk about Salah leaving and how Salah has been like the talisman for Liverpool. Salah wasn't great last night. He was okay. He wasn't terrible. He wasn't brilliant. He was okay. And there was a few moments last night where I kind of saw how it's coming to an end for him, that his legs are gone. He hasn't got the speed to get past people anymore. And that's what it is. It is what it is. But Florian Wirtz is very quickly stepping up and becoming that player, the player that takes control of games. Now, there was a comment made by Arne Slot post-match last night that was very, very interesting from an aspect of the January transfer window. Now, look, we've been told a lot, haven't we, that, we're not going to sign anyone, that Liverpool won't be entering the market, blah, 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 blah. But in his post-match press conference, Arne Slot said the following: "We are trying to look to strengthen the squad. I don't know exactly what is going on in this moment of time, but we prefer to strengthen the squad, not weaken it. Let's see what the upcoming 48 hours will bring." So that for me is a twofold message. First fold is, obviously there have been stories around the departures of Giorgio Mammalashvili on loan to Besiktas, with a big loan fee being offered by Besiktas for the big Georgian. I mean, look, personally speaking, I wouldn't be sad to see Mammalashvili go. I don't rate the guy. I think he's a huge downgrade on Kamin Kelleher. I think, Viacheslav Jaros, who's on loan at Ajax, is probably a better goalkeeper than him, to be honest with you. And obviously, the big concern would be that if he was allowed to go, you've then got Freddie Woodman and Armin Pesci as your backups, unless you recall Jaros from loan, which I suppose would be a possibility if Mammalashvili was allowed to leave on loan. But it does not look like it will be a possibility, given what Arne said yesterday. This, of course, builds on stories that came out yesterday around Curtis Jones and a possible move by Curtis to Inter Milan. But again, I think this is one that will not happen in this window. I think Curtis may well leave at the end of the season, with his contract obviously still up in the air and the whole situation over him perhaps wanting a little bit more than the club are willing to pay. So I do think there's a possibility Curtis leaves at the end of the year. Personally speaking, I would hate to see that. I like Curtis. I think Curtis is a very good footballer. He's one of our own. I know Curtis is not everyone's cup of tea. I know he gets a lot of criticism from the Liverpool fans, and wrongly so in some aspects. But to me, Curtis would be a player I would definitely be keeping. And like Arne said, you're looking to keep this squad relatively strong. And I think allowing Curtis to leave weakens this squad. Certainly does weaken the squad. So for me, again, this is a really interesting comment that was made by Arne Slot post game. Now, does this mean that we are trying to sign some players? That players are going to come in? And if they are, where are they going to come in? Now, I think obviously the big ones for me is in the defensive areas. I think, with obviously the injuries, we're very sadly lacking in the centre-back area. We're lacking in the right-back area because of the injuries to the players. So it's interesting and exciting, I think, that Liverpool are, it seems, looking like they could be signing players in the last few days of this window. The big question would be, why has it taken so long? Has there finally been a realisation that we have not got the squad to keep going and compete in the Champions League and in the FA Cup and for fourth place in the league as well? And I think it's encouraging that there is this move now to sign players. Guys, let me know your thoughts on what Arne said last night and also on yesterday's performance. Thank you for watching the Liverpool FC Journal. Please obviously like, comment, share and subscribe to the channel. Help us to keep growing, and I'll catch you on the next one.